Next, we have on Lisa Daftari. Lisa is a journalist and foreign affairs and counterterrorism expert. She is the editor-in-chief at the Foreign Desk. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Thank you for including me in this wonderful lineup. And thank you for turning your experience into something so much greater and inspiring, and really becoming an activist, an advocate, and someone who is not a victim, but someone who takes this and turns it into hope for so many other people. I like the fact that Tarlan touched upon this, the taste of freedom for so many Iranian people, regardless of where they live and where they are, not just in Iran. That's something that I talk about often, is this inherited faux nostalgia that so many of us have, including myself, somebody who was born after the revolution, born in New Jersey, never have stepped foot on Iranian soil, but yet felt this innate sense of responsibility to tell the Iranian people's story. The first time I had a chance to write a term paper, I always tell this story, and I know maybe some people on this chat have heard the story, that in 8th grade we were told to pick, a big historical topic that we wanted to write about first term paper, and I chose the Iranian Revolution because at that point I wanted to tell my classmates, tell my teacher the distinction between the Iranian people and the government, because I had this sense that, well, everyone thinks that people in Iran ride on camels and they sit on the floor for their meals and they don't really have a sense of civilization, which is quite the opposite. And since then, that has really become turned into a vocation. My goal as a journalist turned, I guess, expert or political commentator in this arena, and I'm about a year away from a PhD in this field. It's really our job to put all the dots out there and to lead people to connecting the dots on their own. And, for such a long time, we saw so many advancements in this field of people really understanding that there's a difference between the Iranian people and their government. People understanding, for example, Shirin talked about the Abraham Accords, that the Abraham Accords are so organic that the people of these moderate Arab states and the people of Israel are not at war, just like the people of Iran and the people of Israel or any other country are not at war, that they all want the same things: freedom, prosperity, economic freedom, the chance to travel to different countries, the chance to participate in a large and robust global economy. And that's exactly what the Abraham Accords brought to light. For me personally, that was such a culminating moment. I was able to work with the White House on rolling out the Abraham Accords. I was on the lawn the day it was the Abraham Accords were launched, and I thought, wow, we're finally getting somewhere in terms of getting this narrative shifted for people and really putting it to work. It wasn't just a piece of paper. It was actually something that we saw great collaboration, private and public deals between Israel and these moderate Arab states. And then comes October 7th. October 7th, we not only stepped back from that Abraham Accords, the 10 steps forward, we took 100 steps back. And that is because of a few different things, mainly because of the narrative that has been perpetrated and really hijacked by media, by social media. And what's funny is when I came to my parents with many law school acceptance letters in hand and almost all my pre-med requirements done, and said, I actually want to go to journalism school and I want to focus on, focusing on foreign policy in the Middle East, my dad especially said, what are you going to do with that? And now, it's become such a relevant thing, so much so that makeup artists and actors and musicians all want to opine on this topic that they have no business opining in. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly why we have so many lies and the narrative that's being pushed by social media. I mean, some of them are just so ignorant on the topic, and they don't mean to be, but that's the way it's been portrayed. Meaning, if you are a social justice warrior, and that if you care about certain things, a long list of things, if you care about gays, if you care about women, if you care about, freedom, if you care about peace, then you should hate Jews and Israel, and you should support Hamas and the Palestinians, and you should be in favor of an Iran run by these terrorists, which is completely backwards. And my advice to people who are in this field and understand the truth is to really just continue pushing the most simple narrative, is that there's only two sides. You can either be pro-terrorism or anti-terrorism. And, unfortunately, a lot of the young people out there that are pushing the pro-terrorism narrative, they didn't live through 9/11. And I hope that there isn't another terror attack on American soil, so that people are reminded once again. And I almost don't want to see what would happen if there were such an attack, and what these young people would do. Would they actually cheer on the terrorists that attack their own country? That's really the sad thing that we come to. But I think that the hopeful thing that I want to leave everyone with is that there are a lot of good people doing good things and pushing the correct and right narrative. And we have to continue doing that, continue putting the dots out there, and lead people again to connecting the dots on their own, to understand that we are all at risk, that Iranians, Israelis, moderate Arab states, anybody who is willing to understand. And of course, I will actually add one more point. When you look at these moderate Arab states, they understand the threat of terrorism better than an average, Ivy League student here in the United States. And that's mind-boggling. And the reason for that is because they understand the threat, because they have lived the threat. And you want to remind people that, we don't want to experience it in order to understand what this threat is. So thank you to everyone who's out there fighting this fight. And I wish you all luck and strength going forward.